Long before modern coastlines took their familiar shape, the oceans were warmer, wider, and filled with lives now lost to time. In those waters, something enormous moved beneath the surface. This was not an empty sea waiting for a monster. It was a living ocean. Fish moved in great schools. Marine mammals rose for air. Reefs, currents, and coastlines shaped where life could gather. Somewhere beyond the shallows, a shadow passes through the light. At first, it is only a shape. Then the scale begins to feel wrong, too wide, too long, too powerful to belong to any shark alive today. Most of what we know about Megalodon begins with teeth. They are large, triangular, and serrated. A single tooth can look less like part of an animal and more like evidence of another kind of ocean. Its full body has never been found. Sharks are made mostly of cartilage, which rarely fossilizes well. So scientists must rebuild this animal from teeth, rare vertebrae, and comparisons with living sharks. The largest individuals may have reached truly immense sizes. Estimates vary, and new studies continue to refine the picture. But whatever exact number we choose, Megalodon was one of the largest predatory sharks known from the fossil record. In its world, whales were changing. Some were smaller than the giants we know today. Others were beginning to explore new forms and new lives in the sea. Megalodon lived among them, not as a movie monster, but as part of a real marine ecosystem. Some fossil sites suggest that young megalodons may have used warm coastal waters as nursery areas. In the shallows, smaller animals could grow with some protection before entering the wider and more dangerous ocean. A predator this large would not exist apart from its environment. It needed productive seas, it needed prey, it needed coastlines, currents, and food chains strong enough to support a giant. Its teeth were built to cut. Their edges were serrated, shaped for biting into large prey. But the teeth alone cannot tell us every detail. They do not show color, movement, behavior, or the exact shape of the living animal. For a long time, people imagined Megalodon as a giant version of the great white shark. But that may be too simple. Similar teeth do not always mean the same body, the same habits, or the same evolutionary story. What makes Megalodon fascinating is not only its size, it is the gap between what the fossils reveal and what they keep hidden. The animal is famous, but much of its life remains just out of reach. Eventually, the world began to change. Oceans cooled, sea levels shifted, coastal habitats were transformed. The web of life that had supported Megalodon was no longer the same. Its extinction was not a single dramatic moment. It was likely a slow pressure from many directions. Changing climates, changing prey, and changing oceans. For a giant predator, even small changes in the food chain can matter. Today, Megalodon is gone. There is no reliable evidence that it still survives in the deep ocean. What remains are teeth, scattered traces, and the outline of a predator too large to be easily forgotten. Each fossil tooth is a small piece of a much larger absence. It tells us that the ocean once held a predator beyond anything living now. But it also reminds us how much of ancient life disappears without a complete record. Megalodon was not simply a giant shark. It was a sign of a different ocean, one where coastlines, whales, currents, and predators were still becoming the world we recognize today. Long after the animal vanished, the sea remained. Its waves covered the evidence, then gave some of it back. And in a single tooth, we can still feel the shadow of an ocean that no longer exists.